Hi, my name is Moshe, some of you guys know me as Shubham, and this is Spurs Video Podcast. Gonna, it's really just talk about, obviously the upcoming new season and hopes and expectations, and just a few things really going on, and also we'll touch on the Palace game as well. First of all, it's great to be at the Espanyol game. I mean, the noise we made, I actually sat in the Park Lane, I've never actually sat there before. I generally sit, we would have bought sandwich lot in the west, or sometimes in something like I've got a few seats and the north stand and places like that. But the Park Lane, I mean, we made so much noise, and to see Roberto Solo blast grab the ball and then blast the penalty, that was just awesome. So obviously, it was just very strange because one of the things I've got to talk about is the fact that while we were having a little sing off between us and the Shell side, they equalised. That was hilarious. But no, I was in the coaching offices before. That's generally where me and the Spurs Odyssey crew. I've actually met a member from Spurs Forum, Gareth Davies, excellent journalist. If you get a chance, check out the Croydon Advertiser. I think I was Croydon Herald. I know one of the Croydon. I think it's Croydon Advertiser. And so that's me him. So making him the third member of the that's I met from Spurs Forum. So it's always good to meet a fellow Ian, especially from Spurs Forum.co.uk. So I plugged both forums. But it was just so weird that 3 months ago we're in the coaching offices, we're having an end season barbecue, and we're a bit down. At the end of the day, we didn't get that. We didn't. The results didn't fall our way, and Arsenal got fourth. They celebrated as if they won the title. We would have celebrated winning the title, but there was a real bit of pessimism of you thinking, well, it's gone, and as good as Europa League, there is going to be no Champions League squad in that comes in next year, and possibly Bale, and obviously we've seen a summer of it's Perez and Zidane and nearly everyone saying, oh yeah, Bale, and obviously you've got not so pretty Jamie Redknapp saying, oh yeah, Bale should leave Tottenham now, they're a selling club. Obviously Jamie Redknapp's not bitter at all. About his dad getting fired and him never really doing anything at Tottenham, but still, why? Let's just forget about that. Obviously, I mean, let's face it. If Liverpool sold Suarez, they would still wouldn't call the selling club now. We wouldn't call them the selling club now, would you, Jamie? Not that I'm bitter that you get to go out and be married to his beautiful Louise. Anyway, let's move on. No, at the end of the day, the transformation in those 3 months. I mean, obviously, we had the Paulinho signing, which I've spoken about, the Chadley signing, and one thing I got to see when I saw Chadley, the most obvious difference is that he'll hug that touchline and then break in, which gives anyone passing, from the left back, whether it be Danny Rose or hopefully it'll be Benny again, gives him an outlet, passing outlet. Before with Siggy and with Clint always drifting in, there'd be a huge space there, and you're given the left, you're given their opposition right wing free run left back. He stays there, he occupies the line, and he comes in. Few too many tricks. It's a good looking catch. He reminds a lot of Nico actually, but he'll learn in time. And I think Crystal Palace will be a good game. The more he plays, the more he'll learn when to release, when to pass, when to play the give and go. But encouraged by what I saw. Soldado. Here's the funny thing about that. Obviously, we saw Danny Rose got one penalty, but he saw Soldado just grab that ball, said, "I am taking this," puts it down, blasts it through, and so probably the only penalty we'll get at White Hart Lane or the entire season, really. But it's good to know that if we ever got a penalty, we would score it, or we have a good chance of scoring it. But it was awesome, and the reception he got, the noise and the atmosphere he generated. I mean, it was amazing. I think we got at least 26,000 at that's for the friendly, which is pretty good numbers. For my in my opinion. I mean, the best example of that is this: we get 26,000 for a friendly. Monaco, even if they sold out, would barely make 17,000 at their stadium. It's not a very big stadium. So the atmosphere and the noise, I mean, it was just, oh god, it was just electric. It was just, and it was actually at the Park Lane end, and we're having a bit of a sing-off between, we're the Park Lane, we're the Park Lane, we're the Park Lane, Tottenham, and the Chelsea side were getting into it. And the Chelsea side, obviously, they've got they're a high place, so they can properly drown us out, but we would make the noise, and it's actually between the back and forth. We're like, oh shit, did the Espanyol just score? It was just a funny thing. So, yeah, it was, and it was good. I mean, Paulinho, Soldado, and Chadley, they came on to a huge amount of noise, but probably the most impressive noise was for, I don't know, toss up between Cabal and Sandro. I mean, the noise we made for Sandro was like, beast, 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 beast. And the fact that this guy is actually calling himself the beast is back. I mean, man, I love Sandro. He's probably, I mean, when I first saw him 3.5 years ago, before he signed for Spurs, we were linked to him, and I saw like bits of him on YouTube. I thought, there's something about him that I think he's going to do very well here. And I've been justified with that. And here's an interesting thing. They say lies, and damn statistics. There's an interesting statistic. If you go to Bloomberg Sport, they've got this sporting index, and they rank players points-wise. And it's incredible that Sandro was second, got 72 points, 73 points, a point behind Arteta, who I'm not sure if Arteta had a full season. I'm assuming he did. I mean, he didn't miss half a season the way Sandro did, but it's incredible how good Sandro was as a holding midfielder. That even though he missed probably got 5 months of the season, half a season at least, more than half a season, he was still second. It's incredible. If you look at some of the other statistics, I mean, obviously you discount that the players like Kompany, Vidic, and Terry were injured for a while, but Jan Vertonghen, #1 central defender, and considering he didn't start, I think they started Ball and Gallas, and coming from a whole new club, a whole new league, Ajax obviously the dominant club there to come to us. It was, he played a few games at left back as well. I think that was astounding what he did at centre half, and he can only get better, I think. And if you look at, say, other players like Lloris, I think was number 6 in that index, and obviously, he'd be rotated in and out for Brad Friedel. So again, you got to think if he had his sophomore season now, he'll go on and really show what he can. What he did now. He's settled, and the other interesting statistic was that Jermaine Defoe on 11 goals was number 10 on their strikers league. So you've got to think if Soldado can get, he said I'll get 20 goals this season. I think he means 20 league goals. Obviously 38, that's going to be impressive. 20 and 38 is an incredible ratio. But I think even if he can get 18 goals, that will see us push for 4th. I think that was the main difference. I think if we can get someone who scores goals, and he does. His movement was amazing. I saw him tracking back. I think he ran up after 65 minutes, but I saw him in obviously in the Park Lane. He was sort of like, why is Soldado's tracking back? I mean, you never saw Pav doing it. I very much doubt you'll see Addy Bayol doing it. JD may do it, but the movement was great. We can't hook up to him. He's 6 foot, I think 5'11", 5.5", 6 foot. He's just not tall enough or powerful enough in the air to to be that kind of. You have to loop it over or thread through balls, but there's something very impressive about him. So I'm quietly impressed by him. I really am. Paulinho, I actually haven't got a chance because my Skybox has been wonderful and it failed. So I didn't get to see a replay of it. I'd love to if someone could point me in the direction of a replay of that goal, or send me a link where I can see a bit more of the game. I thought it was onside, but they ruled it. But he's obviously shown his threat, and somehow, I don't think he knows them. He got the memo. We're Tottenham. We don't score from set pieces. Okay, but don't worry, we'll soon sort that out. Don't worry about that. I mean, luckily, at the other end of the pitch, we can see the goal from the corner. At textbook Spurs, and that's how we do it. So obviously the memo has been received. Defending set piece. We all know the drill, but attacking set pieces when we have them. You know, don't worry, we'll soon sort that out. But no, Musan Kipui. Apparently it is sound. It apparently does rhyme with Fui or something. So there's a lot of things out there. I've contributed my I was on Facebook. On Facebook, especially for Cornwall, I contributed what I thought we should use. But yeah, obviously Huddleston when he's gone, and we've obviously got Livermore on, and I think Parker will probably go on as well. Probably to Fulham actually. I can't see him. While he's still got a chance, I mean, like I say, you got Huddleston saying, you know what, and maybe at Hull, who knows, maybe I can force my chance into England. And I'm thinking, wow, that's Hull. I mean, no respect to Hull, but they're going to be trying their best to avoid getting relegated, like doing a yo-yo. So if you think, I'm thinking, Parker, who's actually had a lot more England games, probably thinking, nah, I'm going to try and if I can try and get Fulham or someone like that. Martin Young's always wanted him. That'll be an interesting thing. Huddleston's an interesting player. I mean, obviously he was part of the Arneson your way first really, put that thing forward. Obviously we signed Aaron Lennon in that period, Michael Dawson, Andy Reid, and Tom Huddleston. Everyone was like, "Tom Huddleston, this is a player from Derby. I'll watch for this kid." And he had it. He had it. He could hit the ball sweetly, and we all knew that. The question would be, how good is he off the ball? And the problem is, that we found, he just isn't mobile enough. And people say, oh, maybe people like Pirlo. First of all, comparisons between Huddleston and Pirlo are way off the bat. I mean, Huddleston's a good player. Pirlo is, and a bit more. Do you know what I mean? He blows off the roof. So that's one thing you cannot comparison. And even then, Pirlo, he puts himself about. He's 31, 32, but he puts himself about. He's got the mobility. And one of the things that, if you close down Huddleston, he hasn't got the mobility to hold on to the ball. He's a big guy, 6'3", 6'4". I mean, if you look at Luka Modric, you get that low center of gravity, and you see Tom Curry do the exact same trick. He'll spin around, shield the ball, and he pass it on. So he won't lose possession. And so he's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. Huddleston doesn't have that, and he can't move into the space. So, like I said, I wish Tom Huddleston well. I will always remember him for a couple of things. Obviously missing a penalty against Bolton, and about a month later hitting a 25-yard screamer against Bolton in the league. And I think it was incredible because it was him and Palacios in the middle, and Luka Modric coming in, and then Palacios got injured. I don't know what something. I think either he got injured or I know his brother did pass away, so that obviously may have affected his game. But then it was just Luka and Huddleston in the middle, and my God, they were just superb together. And obviously that Champions League game, people forget it was Huddleston was the captain. I forgot that. But the injuries, the ankle injuries, he's lost his fitness. If he, and he's one of those few players that, my God, they can't even. Some players, you can't lose. So you can't, pace it. You can't lose what you never had. But trust me, he managed to lose that as well. But like I said, I wish him well. He'll get the games. He'll say, oh, apparently he's been misquoted. He say, oh, they were a young British, and and I was like, well, yeah, but 4 players who are pretty much starters are young and British. Dawson, Bale, if he stays, Lennon, and Carl Walker. So I don't know how that argument works, but go figure. I still think that Huddleston has something to offer, and I still think I think he'll do well at Hull, and I wish him well, and I wish Jake Livermore well because Jake Livermore is a good player. I've rated him for a while. I've always said, give the chance because you have to give meaningful game time, and I think that's where my corker's gone. And that he's 4th choice, and you need to be one. He wants to play at least 30, 34 games, and more importantly, you don't think, oh shit, I'm playing now, but you know what? When Eunice comes back or Tom comes back, I'm out. And it's not fair to him. It's not fair for the team because we have to pick the best players. It's not fair for him for his development. So I can't understand why he's gone. So the Kapuri signing is actually, I think, a really good idea. He's not a natural centre back. He played there, but he's a defensive midfielder. Very much like Jan. I remember Yunus Kabul. We were playing him a right back for a little bit, and we played him a centre. Did we play defensive midfielder? I can't remember if we did. But he said quite literally, "I am a centre half. That is where I want to play." And it's like Jan Vertonghen. Yes, Jan Vertonghen can play on the left. I think he plays at left back for Belgium. And Yeah, he's going to have more job there when called upon, but he wants to play centre half. That's what he feels he's best at. I think Kapui is a best midfielder first. He can play at centre half, and push comes to shove, if there's centre back crisis, we'll try and slot him in there. I mean, like, if Mascherano can play there for Barcelona at 5'9", you know, Kapui's got 6'1", 6'2", so I'm sure he can do a decent job there. So I think that's an excellent sign. 9 million is a fantastic freaking bargain. And I always wondered how we didn't get Sissoko, and I thought, man, I've been missed out. Sissoko never really, who knows? He may have an incredible season, but that initial burst which he had, that he hasn't really captured that early form he showed in Newcastle. But and I'm some, hopefully Kapui can come in. He's had very good stats. I mean, if you look at, again, I'm using the Bloomberg Sports Index. You know, forget how the methodology or not. The two players that are above him, one played for PSG, who's basically the wealthiest team, if not in France, not in Europe, and definitely in France anyway. And then the other one was, I think, some other guy from Lyon. So I think Lyon were third or second. So for that he was actually doing that well for Toulouse, I think speaks volumes for me personally. I think it's an excellent signing. Sandro, I mean, we were just all saying beast, 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 beast. I don't see him being back for at least another month. I mean, he looks alright, but you still think maybe a couple of friendly here and there, one of those closed door friendlies, couple more games, and then maybe put him in the European, and then bring him back in the Premier League. I don't see him really starting. I mean, I think he'll definitely come on and do it as a substitute, but starting, no. I think, I think he'll definitely come on maybe on maybe not against Arsenal, but definitely against Swansea, maybe against Arsenal. But obviously depending on injuries and everything else. But I still don't see him starting yet, not until after the transfer window. And the transfer window, we're going to talk about it. Bale, I've spoken about this. They don't have the cash. They spent 35 million on Isco, 40 million on Morandi, and if the rumours are true, they want 100 million cash straight up. Nah, they're not going to do that. They can't pony up. And I think, although Perez stood this year, he was unopposed. I think you have to guarantee 16 million euros to even stand for election. That's more of a function of the Spanish economy as it is now. Apparently, it's really bad in Spain. It's 25%, unemployment. People are just exiting, going to Germany where there are jobs, and the economy's in a real doldrums. And I'll be honest, outside of El Clasico, outside of that, I don't bother watching it, because for me, one of the reasons I like the Premier League, I think a lot of people do, because we're going to equal. Obviously, there are some clubs richer than others, but on their day, well, you saw Wigan. They beat us at home. They held us at at the DW Stadium. I've got the name of it. Yeah, they you can get these upsets, and they're not like, oh my god, major upsets. The small teams can go away from home, can get a draw, can even get a win, and I think the Premier League, that is where it'll happen. It doesn't happen so much abroad, especially in like Spain. While that lends itself to, because I think the other clubs haven't got the money, so while that lends itself to clubs developing players a lot better than we ever will, because they can't buy players in what we can. On the flip side, it's not a competitive league. And I said this years ago. I said to Spurs when they were like, you're chatting shit. Let's face it, YouShubes is me just chatting shit anyway. But I honestly do believe that outside of Barcelona, I mean, tell me again, Valencia have sold Soldado 20 million. They want to try and sign Helder Postiga. Atletico have sold I don't know how much Falcao for, but then they signed in Villa for like 5 million. It's these are clubs that are really living on the margins, and so for me personally, I just think Bale. If he wants to go in the next year, let him go. I personally think we keep Bale. I'm not saying it's hard does. There's no way, no freaking way he can win the title. I mean, I would love to prove him wrong. Please prove me wrong. But no, I still think we are pace setters. Is that the best word? I think we'll set the pace, but we'll fade away. I think we'll have be a period of bad form. What I think the gaffer's done. and Levy and Baldini, what they've done is they've identified, look, we're weak up front, bring in Soldado. Jermaine Defoe, Adebayor, excellent players on their day. You know, and especially Adebayor, when he's bothered, the guy is, I rate him as high as Drogba. I thought there was moments in the 07-08 season. I mean, he looks almost unplayable at times. And when he's got the bit between his teeth, he's just, 6'3". Touches amazing. Power. He's up there with Drogba. I mean, that's how highly I rated him. But he has to be bothered about it. And obviously, we don't know what the hell's going on with him. He's not been playing pre-season. And last year, that would have really bothered me. But with Soldado, knowing that Jermaine Defoe's coming on, all right, Jermaine Defoe is probably the wrong side of 30 now, but come and do a job. And if you can find two other strikers that are going to be on that bench, that can do a better job coming off the bench, I'll take them. But I don't know anyone that will do that. We'll obviously be linked with Lamella, Willian, and Ericsson, and I'll talk about that. But for me, we've already got in 4 new players. I hope you do get centre back. I've been going with Tarbes Alderweireld. I can't pronounce his name, but saw him play. I just saw him give him the runaround by Ribery a few times. He's playing at right back, and Ribery's like one of the world's best wingers. Playing, coming onto, being the reason I call it occasionally I'll go midfielders. The reason I call it inverted winger is someone else did that, but playing, going onto your stronger foot, that kind of winger. I think he's superb, and quite right. You've got a player that's not really playing a strong position against one of the best players in that position. I think we know how it's going to go, but he's got good passing, which I saw, and I think he's obviously played for Tonga before, Ajax and at Belgium. We seem to want to collect Belgians. It seems they are the new Croatians. I don't know, was that the best word or something? I don't know. And so, definitely. I mean, there were moments. I don't know if you saw that Belgium-France game. Obviously, it's friendly. You can't tell that much. Obviously, Ricky Lambert will be on the World Cup. If we go to Rio, he'll be on the first name on the plane to Rio. It's not. There are moments that they were like 5-on-2, 5-on-3. They were just superb. And they weren't playing Dembele. They weren't playing Vertonghen. And they just. The quality they had. I mean, Benteke, I don't think Benteke started. I think they started with Lukaku. And some of the moves they did, I mean, I'm assuming that they didn't have De Bruyne, they had to have Dembele or someone else. They would have killed, they would have cut through France. That's how good they were that day. So that would be my last signing. Get that sorted. How we'll link, and obviously Bale, I think will stay. I think purely he's a contract. Purely because we haven't said, look, you're trained by yourself. If he was a real problem, they'd have made him train by himself. If they did that to Luka Modric, they're not going to do it with Bale this year. And I think that's why he stays. I think and part of the fact that Bale will want to live back here. I mean, Luka Modric, I don't see him moving back to the UK ever. But I can see Bale wanting to move back. And I think the fact that he's tied to the UK, he's got very, very close family ties to the UK. I just don't see him wanting to leave. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. I think the money, and let's face it, it's £2 billion. I mean, let's just say for an argument's sake, some team does Derby County or something, I don't know, and wins the league out of nowhere. Not saying it's us, just say anyone, Arsenal, Liverpool, whatever, and that just throws out the whole apple cart, and there'll be bums on seats glued around the world. The Premier League, for me, is the most competitive league. The wealthiest league, they've got all this money. Fortunately, that doesn't translate into England players, because, if you're English, first of all, English players don't have the technical ability compared to their European counterparts. And secondly, if they do, chances are, if you lose 2 every game, that's it, you're up for the sack. Whereas, they'll say, I'll come on, chair and get your checkbook out. In this, in places like Holland, in Belgium, Portugal, or where there isn't as much money to, amongst the other teams to go out and splash the cash the way we can. You see more game time, and obviously the more games you play, the better you're going to be. It's the best example I can give. I remember someone said to me, "Oh, you look superb on the pads." I said, "Yeah, that's just pads." But how I do in sparring is completely different. And sparring is where you learn what works, what doesn't work, what you can do, what you can't do, what you need to work on. And I think the same thing with games. You've got to play meaningful games where, victory or defeat has an impact. Friendlies, it's under 21 Premier League. Say what you want about it. It's, end of the day, there's no meaning to it. The Premier League where the money's at, and that's where you make the money. Champions League where the money's at, that's where victory or defeat, costs millions. So for me, I just see Bale staying. Honestly, I do. Obviously, they'll look saying a lot of people had that last chance today. How they can call Holtby a last chance today? Holtby wasn't even meant to join us in January. He joined because Sandro was injured. We needed someone to come in. He brought in some quality, but he wasn't fully fit. He's had some niggling injuries, and he's still learning our system. He's still learning, developing understanding. I mean, you saw Paulinho start up, and Dembele. The reason why Sandro and Dembele were up, Sandro is naturally a more holding foot. Yes, he will break forward, but he tends to sit more. And Dembele, yes, he will put his foot in and make interceptions, but he tends to want to get forward more. Paulinho and Dembele, that'll be interesting how those two line up, because they both are box to box. They both want to get forward, and they both have to be able to. I don't know if Paulinho speaks that much English yet. I've heard him speak a little bit of English, but not a huge amount. They'll need to develop that understanding. Like I'm going to say it, you go forward. It's not like I can say, Musa, you cogiendo. It's like, no, sorry, mate, I don't understand that, mate. You cogiendo means I run. It's just, I think it's just a case of over time they'll develop that, and I definitely wouldn't mind seeing them start in that 2 in Georgia, just to really get them playing a lot more often together, and that way they'll develop that understanding. And obviously, when Sandro comes along, it'll be very important that both players develop that understanding. I think we'll stick to the 4-2-3-1. I don't think 4-3-3 we're set up yet for that, not by a long shot. And so I think we'll stick to the 4-2-3-1. In terms of how we line against Palace, I'm glad to be on our way back. I like him. He makes me laugh. That's just me. But definitely, I see a back four. This is assuming I don't know how the injuries are working out. I don't know how fit or unfit Cabral is. I know he did come on, play for 5 minutes. Is that going to be enough between now and maybe we'll see. I mean, I can see him doing 60-odd minutes, and then I said he can't do anymore. Then I think he'll be coming on just come in for like half an hour or something, 25 minutes, just to see out the game, get his feet wet, and then hopefully we'll probably start him against Dinamo Tiblisi in Georgia. Not really. I know Jack like Dinamo Tiblisi. I know obviously we play them away, and I know it's a bloody far off place, but that's what I know. So I'll touch on that a little bit, but now it's about the Crystal Palace game. I'll play back for Cabral, Dawes as captain, and I'm guessing if Benny isn't fully fit, which apparently he is, apparently he was carrying injury for a long time last season. He was playing with injury. People say he doesn't rate him. I think Benny's a superb left back. I really do. I think the thing is that has hurt him is that if you look at, as I say, a couple of years ago when Luka Modric was playing on the left and cutting in, he had no cover. But Bale went there. Those two played very well together. If you've got an incredible world-class player in front of you, incredibly you will look really, really good. If you've got no one in front of you, incredibly you're going to struggle a little bit. People don't realise how much Lennon helps Walker. It's the work rate that Aaron Lennon gets for is incredible. Chad Lee will stick on that side, and I'm not saying he's not got his foot in, but having that player there doesn't give you a free run at the left back. So I think it will probably be Chad Lee. If you've got double pivot, that's my word, of Paulinho and Dembele, I think we're going to continue that for as long as we can, really, until we can really integrate Sandro back to the fitness of the team. 3, obviously, Bale is still injured. I think he was shot in the buttocks. The buttock injury, the foot injury, I don't know what the hell the injury he's got. But he wasn't fit enough to start for Wales. If there was a problem, they'd started him. Obviously, it's a friendly, so it's not as important, but I can't imagine anyone that doesn't want to play for their country. And so that would have raised us. I think he is genuinely injured. How injured is another thing, but I think he is, and I think it's September. The next day is when the window closes. If he hasn't gone by then, I think I think we'll see him start against Arsenal, but we'll see. Maybe he's bluffing it. I mean, I don't know much at Arsenal. It's a very strange thing how they've only signed one player. I think of. I'm just dreading they end up signing Messi, Ronaldo, and I don't know Javi Martinez and I don't know Bastian Schweinsteiger and Lewandowski and Suarez and oh fuck knows who else. And that's Sven Bender and all those kind of players. Julian Draxler, just like what I'm saying. So there's a guy. I said a kind of stupid concept like pop the champagne. The reason I said that is I remember the Spurs show when we beat Man United, we popped the champagne. And look, it was great, we beat Man United, but this is just 3 points. And there's no point winning 3 points at Old Trafford if you go and lose the next game. I don't think we did, but you see what I'm saying? It's 3 points, and that's it. It's great to beat Man United. It says you've achieved something to beat Man United at Old Trafford. You've beaten not only Man United, you've beaten 30 times as well. So to do that is an achievement. But I think ultimately what you have to look at is the fact that it's just 3 points. And therefore then obviously saying, they get Suarez as strength. I said, you know what? The only time we have to worry about that is twice a year when we play them. And that's it. And that should only be an issue if we have done our job. Because, there's no point complaining about how, if we got, alright, off the top of my head, 77 points. Yes, what Arsenal get will be a worry, but if Arsenal get 78, and then that's beyond us. I mean, we've done the best PL title with that. That's beyond us. But let's focus on what we do, and we can only focus on what they do when we play them, and that's it. Obviously, one affects our final league position, but it's all about doing the best we can, and wherever they finish up, and we can't do anything to affect that. Apart from I don't know, maybe send them a lasagna or something. I don't know. Answer on the postcard. I think playing those two. Interesting for me. That would be interesting to see how that works. Like the Dembele and Paulinho. That I think would be crucial for that. See how those two play. I think Dembele, although it was really strange because apparently for the Selecao, he actually did just get more and more forward. I think he will get more forward, but I think we'll say to him, look, can you please just sit back a bit more. Musa is going to be the real driver from this, and ghost in, but step back as much as you can. Just rein in your instincts and really be the liberator. I know you've got the passing thing, but there are some passing. Apparently, I mean, I didn't see all the game, but apparently he did run out of path after about 60 odd minutes. That's expected. He's still not fully fit. He played confederations. He had a break, and guys has been playing non-stop. So again, I think it'll take him time to adjust to the climate. The climbs and the demands of the Premier League and the physicality of it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I run 10Ks I think in about an hour, and that's it. I'm not running with the ball or without the ball. I'm not doing loads of sprints. So what these guys do, oh man, it's incredible. The physical fitness you need to be a Premier League footballer, it's just beyond ridiculous. So I think Soldado up front. I think Chadley, he'll have to curb his instincts a little bit, and I think it's more a case of one step over too many, but he'll learn. I mean, the best example would be, I'm not going to compare him to Cristiano Ronaldo, although he has got that kind of I don't know, complexion or something. I don't know. Is that racist? I don't know, but he's loads of step overs and everything, but we know that he scored goals at 20. I think once he develops more of an end product for what we need him to do in the Premier League, I think obviously there's a difference between the Dutch, Eredivisie and the Premier League, just in terms of the quality. I mean, a lot of good players come from there, then move on, but I think we can tell that if you take the top six against their top six, I think we're smashed the fuck out. To be honest. So that's how I see it anyway. So I think he'll, once he learns when to release, when to hold, it's just more decision making really, getting used to the pace of the Premier League. But once that's sorted, I think we've got a very good player on our hands. Gylfi, I love Gylfi. I think Siggy's an awesome player. I think he's just never really had the chance. He generally does play. From what I remember from Swansea, I think he played in the middle or on the right of that 4-3-3 that he used to play under Brendan Rodgers. I think behind the playing striker, he's got the passing ability. He hasn't got that touch or those wing mirrors that say Van der Vaart had or even Luka Modric had. But and I think that will be interesting to him, the competition between him and say Holtby. Obviously Holtby's injured. That's bad luck. You do really well with Germany, under 21s, you do your job, and you get an injury and it derails your pre-season. But I think Holtby and Siggy will be competing for that spot. I really do. Ericsson will be a great player, but I think it's a luxury that we can't afford. Not that we haven't got the cash. I'm not accusing Levy of spending recklessly. And here's the other thing I'll top up. I don't want people saying that Spurs have bought the fourth spot. I don't think we have compared to, say, if we spend any money, it's from TV money. It's not from, or projected TV money, projected stadium money, whatever. It's not from like the oligarchs, selling about a couple of thousand barrels or something. It's nothing about that. But you want to really deserve it. And I felt like, as a Spurs fan, the 09-010, and I'm going to kill the person that answered that around that doorbell. The 09-10 game, whoever in that period, I think when we similar story. I mean, you had Liverpool who had kind of choked. Was that the best word? Against Man United, but they were pretty much title contenders. You had Man City who had spent a humongous amount of cash. I mean, serious amounts of cash, and they were freaking lighting up the Premier League. And then you had whatchamacallit, you had what's the word I'm looking for? And then we had us coming in. I think in Europa would be the best we could do. We weren't really in Europe at the time, and that kind of helped us. And we somehow managed to get into fourth, managed to stay there, and I think we deserved it. Man City weren't, let's face it, they weren't in Europe either, so we were competing against them. Liverpool, you can say that they're in Champions League, they had a bad distraction, and they were under Benitez, they were really kind of falling apart. But realistically, I think that for me was my favourite season as a Spurs fan. To obviously with Levy King, I mean, doing what he did against Arsenal and beating the Chavs, and just it's just an awesome season that year. And I don't want to see, and I actually do hope Arsenal do strengthen, because you want to beat a worthy opponent. If you, the way I look at it, it's like this. In boxing terms, they said, you know what? Yeah, he's got like a 30 title, but like 20 title, but half of those guys are cans. They won't even meet with the. It's like in Real Madrid. Yes, they win the. I'd want them to win the league, but who are they beating? Not really anyone that can really challenge them. And I want to be, as a Spurs fan, call me naive, but I want to be the team that challenges. I want to be the team that challenges and faces a worthy challenger and actually beats that worthy challenger. That's just how I see it. Not everyone will see it the same, but that is how I want to, be doing it. And that's just, my 2 cents in the matter. I don't think it's reckless spending. I mean, even if we, as you think about it, I think we've netted most transfer windows anyway. I think last year, the year before that, and even when we got the Champions League, I don't remember us really splashing the cash. I mean, we bought Rafa and Sandro. I don't remember us really going out and getting loads of cash. So for me, and this is just me, I think Sandro, I think we have spent the cash. I think apparently there's 2 more signings. I'm guessing one's going to be centre half. We're also linked with Lamella. I think Willian is interesting. I think given the choice between us or Man United, Man United, they need a player like Willian. And Willian needs a club like that, and I think he'll do very well there. How I think will fit in that, I think Chelsea are odds on favourites. I think it will be a very close race between all 3 of them. We've got Pellegrini. Obviously, he's going up against the guy who he was fired for at Real Madrid, and he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, he's got rid of. Obviously they've lost Adebayor a long time ago, but Tevez is gone. Balak Balotelli's gone, and that was a lot. Managing those two must have been a real pain in the ass for Mancini. So he's brought in Negredo, Jovetic, he's brought in Jesus Navas, Fernandinho. A lot of people don't think off 30 minutes as a field. First field, you know, if Man City or PSG come calling, I'm like, oh, you want my player? Okay. He's worth 22 million, but to you, I'm gonna charge you 28. That's just, you do that to those clubs. They are swimming in money. That's why you charge them more. That's just the way it is. I thought he was great. I saw him against Chelsea, and the incisive passing. I mean, I was saying that I wish Dembele would do that, because I never saw Dembele do that. Oh yeah, we've got Dembele. He doesn't. No, he doesn't. Compared to what Fernandinho's doing, that level of incisive passing I didn't see from that. I think for me, Dembele, he's the one player that's under the most threat, because in the final third, does he do enough? Does he put on that pass, that slide through? Does he put in that shot? And I saw against Espanyol, I don't know whether he just got more freedom to play that, but I was saying shoot, 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 and he took a shot, and yeah, the goalkeeper got it. It wasn't, you know, but you know, it wasn't a difficult save for the keeper to make. But let's face it, you know, we saw Joe Hart, and it was a difficult save for him to make against. I don't know, is it Kenny Miller or something Morrison, and you know, he still managed to fluff that up. So you know, I think if he can develop that goal threat, you know, and therefore teams will want to close them down, and that opens up that slide through ball, slide through pass. Then I think we've got that, and you've got players like Soldado whose movement is just electric, and it's just incredible to see. If you saw him move, he doesn't do a huge amount, but move a couple of yards and he backs off, or he stays. The player will he's naturally moving and stop, so the player will move on, and then he gets that half a yard, and that's the difference. And once he gets that bit of space, he's got the technique to, he knows where the ball's going to come, moves to it, bam, and he hits that ball, hits it beautifully. And so, so I think I would definitely go 4-2-3-1, Soldado up front. Against Dinamo Tiblisi, because I'm not going to separate YouShubes, sorry for that. I'm sorry how long this has gone on, my apologies, but it's, what is Espanyol and Palace and, what have you. I think, pretty much, after Hugo Lloris, I'd probably play, I don't know, Dawson and if he's, and probably Capuri centre half, just to get him used to it. Maybe Zeke Fry's at left back. We've obviously thought enough of him to put him centre back, which he's not. He's not a natural centre half. He's not tall enough. He's 6 foot. I'm not saying you have to be 6'5" or something, but maybe eventually we might give him a few chances there. But I think playing at left back, or Danny Rose at left back, right back, Carl Norton, 4-3. I'd probably have Tom Carroll in there with Dembele and Paulinho, just for them to be like the box to box defensive, and let him just be a playmaker, and and have like Andros on one side, Chadley on the other, behind, maybe even if Manuel Bodyboy's back for personal reasons, or Jermaine Defoe. And I think if you can't beat that Georgian side, I think you've got Andros is pretty well in the Premier League. You've got Chadley's a full Belgian international. Played, I think he started actually against France. You've got JD, solid England international. Paulinho and Dembele, solid internationals for their countries. Tom Carroll's got a load of promise. Capuri, alright, shoehorn at the centre half, but he's played there before. Maybe Zeke Fry is maybe a little bit, but we got 2 players who aren't regulars, who you don't think, 3 players maybe who you think don't guarantee Premier League starts, and maybe Carl Norton, but the rest of the team are. And that's how I go for there. So anyway, thank you for going to YouShubes. I'm going to go Chelsea for the title, Man City, last before. Who knows if we have? I mean, I think AV knows he wants to play. So I mean, the best example I can give is this: when Benny was injured, we played Bale at left back because he played there before. I think he started his career. Didn't work. We were really getting killed by 2 horrible teams. And then he thought, wait a minute, I'll play Vertonghen at left back. I'll put, and then he figured it. But there's an adjustment, and I think sometimes you'll make a mistake. That's where you learn. He's had that learning curve. He knows lots more about his team. They know what he wants more from them. I think Mourinho, he does know these players. They are his players. I mean, I'm not sure if he signed Petr Cech. I don't know. I don't know if there's a signing. I think he was signed before, but and Lampard again was a superb player long before Mourinho. Came to Mourinho's hand, but he then went on leaps and bounds. Terry, obviously, we know how good John Terry is as a player. So but a lot of those players he doesn't really know that well because people forget it's been 6 years. Players have come and gone since then, and in those 6 years, he knows the club. Does he know the players as well? Do they know him? Some of them will respond, some of them won't. Is there going to be mistrust because it's like, wait a minute, you're one of his old boys. That's the only little thing. That's why I think if Chelsea do win, it'll be like a margin of 2-3 points or something. It will not be a straight thing. Man U, obviously David Moyes. And it's an interesting thing because they haven't signed it. You could tell they blatantly need a midfielder. I mean, Paul Scholes is retired, so you need someone to take over Paul Scholes' mantle. Obviously, no one wants to take over Paul Scholes, but Thiago, I don't know why they didn't sign him. Bayern Munich have Götze. I think they sold Gustavo to Wolfsburg, I think. But they've got Götze or Thiago Alcantara that can play in that position. Play alongside the formidable Schweinsteiger and Martinez. So you've got those two, and you think why not just up the bid? And again, Fabregas maybe he wants to stay, but I'm sure if you throw enough cash at Barcelona, they'll sell. And I don't know why they haven't done that. Fellaini, apparently here's things. Now Fellaini's a good player. Is he a Man United level player? I'm not sure. I'm surprised that Arsenal haven't gone for him. You think they need some power in that midfield. I remember I saw it an Everton Man City game, and properly it was honestly the best example I can give. I was saying if you ever watch wrestling, it was like Kane and Batista, like 1 6'7", 1 6'6", two big, powerful, the two biggest bulls they say in the Raw locker room, and they fucking had wars, and you had like them, Fellaini and Torre, and Torre's at 6'3", 6'4", Fellaini's at least 6'4", and they'd be properly going at it. So you're surprised that no one signed him. But you've got I think Man City definitely don't rule them out. They've gone quietly about their business. Well, not quietly, but they haven't gone out and I don't know bought Messi or Ronaldo. But I mean they've gone out and they've identified, look, we've got Balotelli's gone, Tevez is gone. They brought in Jovetic and Negredo. What's his name? They want Hudson Neves. That'll give him some width, some really good width. How he acclimatises, apparently he's had real homesickness. I don't know. Well, Man City. I hate to say it to you, Manchester's a nice city, but ain't nothing like Seville sunshine. Sunshine's another thing you might end up missing as well. So how he adapts will be interesting. But they've got some very, very good players. Joe Hart, he had a bit of a kerfuffle. So how that works out, I mean, I think the teams are. I think it will be a tight. I think it'll be a 3-horse race for the Premiership. I think it'll be a 3-horse race for 4th. To be totally fair, I think them, Arsenal, us, maybe Man City. Or I think Man City are clear favourites for 3rd. I think us and Arsenal will push, and whilst one of us will get through. Liverpool don't discount them. They're not playing in Europe. And more importantly, if they sort out the Suarez thing, here's the interesting thing with Suarez: if they get the cash, who they're going to spend it on? So that's one thing you got to countenance. I just don't see. I don't know. If they get enough money and something to Liverpool, then I can't see them really competing. But they send to Real Madrid. I think there's an opening. There's a vacancy. Higuain's gone. He obviously speaks Spanish, being Uruguayan. You'll get goals for them. There's a bit of a and there's a real natural need for a striker. And Benzema's a good striker. They've got another, Jesse Rodriguez and another player, Alvaro Morata, I think it is. Good players, but you want someone that can come in now and pinch hit. Suarez is the guy. Then we've seen how Higuain was used the interest of Arsenal. He also got a very good deal at Napoli. Gustavo, I don't know if he did the same thing. Going to Wolfsburg. I'm not. I write off Arsenal on my peril. I think we all do. I read so many money against so many false dawns, but I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go Chelsea, Man U, Man City. I know, separated by about 5 points between all three. I think it'll be a very, very close race between all three. I see Arsenal's getting fourth. Obviously, I'm going to say that, but no, I just think we've got sufficient quality on the thing now. I think it'll be, to be honest, I don't think it'll be a walkover. I think it'll be maybe 2-3 points, if that. So I don't think it'll be the end of the season, but I think maybe a game 4 or something like that. I think it will be a very tight race, and so yeah, I think it'll be interesting. But yeah. Yeah, thank you for listening for 50 odd minutes. Sorry about the doorbell ringing and everything like that. Thank you for listening to the Spurs DO podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, for those of you guys do. If you get a chance, there's a MP3 downloader, DVD. So if you install it into your system, what it'll do is that when you go to this thing, you can download an MP3. Mind, I'm running for them in about just under 6 weeks in a half marathon. Training hasn't gone brilliantly because of Ramadan. Didn't go train for him today. I'm going to try and force out a 10 miler on Sunday, and then hopefully I did 6 miles. I did 6. I'll try to do 10, and then 6, 10, 6, 10, 14, 6, 10, 6, 10, 14. Hopefully I'll get up to that distance that I need to be to, obviously get to half marathon thing. So yeah, I am. If you type in ukvirginmoneygiving.com/Shalom, Mind, they're a great charity. That's what I'm running for. And yeah, I'm wearing my Eddie Cohn t-shirts. Going to the seminar. There's 2 seminars I'm going to. One day I'm going to Mill Hill, Nick Brooks. Really nice guys. They've actually taken me in, and after I left Eddie Cohn's gym, and they've been really nice and very warm. Guys like Chris and Danny, and all the guys there I've trained with, just been so kind to me and taking me in. And I'm doing a seminar there on Saturday. I think it's 29th, and I think 28th, and the 29th will be Eddie's. So I'm going to see a good friend of mine, and a very good BJJ brown belt get his black belt, maybe even 2 brown belts get their black belts, and that'll be rich deserved. So yeah, Mind, Eddie Cohn seminar, Nick Brooks seminar, Tottenham. Yeah, only I could somehow link Jiu-Jitsu, running for charity, from mental health charity, running for Mind and Tottenham. See, mental health, a bit of an issue, isn't it? Hence why I'm running for Mind. Thanks very much for listening. As always, give a shout out to my mate Debs. Debs, for those of you who don't know, shout out to Spurs, obviously one of the loveliest, sweetest, most amazing people I know. And for those of you who don't know, I said during Sharpies, I heart Debs. She's wonderful. I even wrote, because her husband's name's Mick, I said, and Mick too on my leg. So yeah, and yeah, thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy this. Sorry it's gone on so long. I will try and keep these down. Hopefully you won't have me, you'll have some other guys who are going to be on this, and yeah, it's all going to be good. Thanks very much. Peace out.